Update on the Rover matter. If everyone's seen the email, we had two items that also the repository's done a great job covering it, I think. So you've seen the order come out from the Ohio EPA, and also we had the letter from FERC to Rover, basically mimicking the order from OEPA. So those were both very favorable in my mind to the cities and the city's interests. Basically, we were working through our channels with Mr. Converse and his contacts at the OEPA, and also our environmental law attorney with the OEPA, hoping to see an order similar to the one that was issued. Rover working with the OEPA at that point in time, then decided, I guess, to take a more adversarial approach, and the EPA did not take kindly to that. They issued the unilateral order on July 7th that I sent out to everybody, and if anyone would like a hard copy, I can provide that. And that contained basically all the terms that we would have wanted to see. And then FERC followed up with a shorter letter, but basically contains the essential terms that we would want to see as well. So we have, right now, I guess I would say our position is very strong. We have both the state and the federal government taking action that aligns with the action that we would like to see and is in our interests. We're still making sure that we protect Canton's interests. Ty can tell you a little bit more about what he's doing on the ground from an operational standpoint. But for right now, I would say things are favorable for us. If Rover decides to appeal the OEPA order, then we would potentially look to enter the action. They would go to the ERAC, I believe is the acronym, the federal, the alphabet soup group, the Environmental Review Commission, and we would, as an intervening party, basically a friend of the court, if you will, to be the director of the EPA versus Rover in this matter, and we could enter that as a intervening party to basically state our interests, state our piece, and be heard in the matter. And there's always also a private cause of action on behalf of the city of Canton that would be often timely and costly. And so right now we're hoping that we see both the state and the federal government action move forward at a much quicker pace. If you noticed especially in the OEPA order, it set strict guidelines and strict timelines for action. But if we don't see, if we see an appeal filed, or if we don't see action quickly, then Todd and I have already talked about the city taking our own action and basically then looking for compensation on the back end from Rover for things like our own monitoring wells or some of our own mitigating actions. But right now, we still, as we updated you the last time, everything's still stable. We're still, there's no signs of anything in our water or at the wells in the Sugar Creek well. And you want to update on the operational situation right now?
Yeah, I think you covered it pretty well, Director. Operationally, we're just still trying to maintain a minimum pumpage down there, and the idea there just being to be extra cautious and not draw anything that might be present from that quarry dump site to our well field any sooner than it might come. So it's just a simple technique, and we're just trying to gain some time waiting for these orders to take effect and take hold so that the stuff gets cleaned up ultimately. So monitoring wells are installed next to the site, and then samples will be collected beyond that point to ensure that there's nothing coming from that site. So that's the path that we're on at this time.
I attended, I think maybe 2 years ago, and I know President Shulman has headed this up, a Water Commission meeting.
Yes.
About unveiling some rules that we were going to potentially enact. And so what is the status of that? And I think that is, in lieu of this, a very important thing for us to move on quickly. Do we have any timeline when we might see something of that nature? And And what is the holdup, I guess?
I would defer to law in that case as far as overlay zoning ordinances. That's, Joe, if that's okay.
Thanks, that's a good question. Members of council, there is an ordinance that's been drafted that will come to you. First of all, the strategy was to put our own house in order and have an ordinance regulating and affecting the pollutions, the potential sources of pollution in our source waters. We thought once we did that, we could go to our neighboring townships like Jackson and Plain, who share potential time of travel pollution into our water sources, and negotiate with them to get our standards in place. Then we thought with those in hand, we could get down to Tuscarawas County and Sugar Creek Township and meet with those folks and say, look, here's what we've done in our house to protect our water sources. You have jurisdiction over our most essential water source, the Sugar Creek aquifer, and the Attorney General seems to allow, through an Attorney General opinion, overlay zoning, where since they're not regulating it and it can affect our water adversely, we can impose what they call overlay zoning. Now, as we get through this, and we probably have to end up partnering with the OAG before this is all over, maybe we'll talk with one of their persons. We've got the service director and Tyler lined up a marvelous, really highly specialized attorney who does nothing but EPA work at the highest federal and state level. So the Water Commission met today, and that's sort of our game plan, is to get it to a good place for us, and then try to export it to the people around us and protect us that way.
Frank? Bill? Several weeks ago, there was a letter to the editor. I've told some of you.
I asked about that today.
And it was the guy from Texas saying, let's all work together. And I never cut it out. I guess I should have cut it out or go back and look for it. The question is this. We're not stalling. We're not working together. We're not waiting for something to happen, are we?
I would say, no, I'm not sure who that individual was. I don't believe we've been contacted. I have no calls. I don't believe Superintendent Converse has received any calls from Rover about working together or any sort of joint solution to this. Everything we've done has been through the OEPA, and I think it was Rover's decision to take a more adversarial approach to this matter, which led to the unilateral order that OEPA issued. So I'm not sure who that was. I didn't, and we discussed it at the.
Oh, it was out of Texas.
Okay, and we discussed it at the Water Commission meeting because somebody mentioned that you had seen that.
I told the law director.
I brought it up at the meeting. Remember something?
Right, but I would say that we're all for working with everybody, but at the same time, we're going to protect our interests and protect the welfare's
Good,
interests.
thank you.
And just one point about Tyler, our Linda Aller, who I think many of you have met, our environmental expert who helped us with develop our source water protection plan. With Ty's credit, she said that this isn't the case in all of these instances, but Tyler has done everything that you would want out of a water superintendent from an operational standpoint. So